Thank you very much, Presiding Officer. I think the tone of the debate certainly suggests that we're heading towards a broad consensus on this issue and a recognition that each one of us in this chamber may have had lost opportunities to address it. But as one of the sayings I hold close to myself, particularly in recent times, is someone who never made a mistake, never made anything. So I think if we're able to look forward, that is an excellent way to go. And I very much thank Murdo Fraser and his colleagues for giving us the opportunity to debate this important subject. It clearly is a very long-run issue. A long-run issue in the sense that we've been engaged in the issue for decades without necessarily coming to a point where we feel we've identified everything we need to do. But more fundamentally, it's a long-run issue for our youngsters. Neglect in early years will have issues that remain all the way to the end of one's life. And I think Ross Finney, in particular, captured it when he said, no liberty in poverty, no liberty in ignorance. I had the very great pleasure, when I was a minister, to do a GIFREC event on the 12th of March 2010 for Adam Ingram in Aberdeen. And I was very struck as I sat through, in particular, an earlier presentation before I got to my feet and engaged with a room of several hundred very enthusiastic people who are very switched on. If they're representative of the professionals, my confidence level ought to be seriously high. But the presentation that preceded my contribution was a very interesting one. It was about the role of music and how kids interact with music. And we were shown videos of children who actually in their first day of life were actually beating with the beat in music, showing a degree of interaction. Now, I have no insight related to that. I only report what I saw. But I thought that what that did illustrate was that it's never too early to start to engage a newly born infant with the world. Because learning starts, if not in the womb, who knows, certainly from the moment that we leave the womb. And we have to create the kind of environment that enables that learning to develop a well-rounded and capable adult. The multi-agency approach is certainly one that's important. My father, as a general practitioner from the 1940s onwards, even then had to work with other practitioners. And that made such a difference to his ability to support his patients. But more fundamentally, he was able to bring professionals to the table. A much simpler world than we have today. Let's absolutely accept it. Now, the sort of things that children will benefit from are very diverse. In my own life, I would say absolutely that I happen to be lucky to be brought up in a house absolutely chock-a-block with books. And ironically, my ill health in the first decade of my life, I'm an asthmatic, it was something that actually helped, because I simply spend most of my time at home picking up books and reading them. Too many children these days are in a house with no books. And I think the comments that the Minister made about the provision of books is a very important part of it. Liz Smith talked about literacy and numeracy. I think we talk ourselves out of an impression of whether we're numerate. Many people would say, I don't understand numbers. And yet, if you go into any bookies, you will find mathematics, which I, as a mathematics graduate, am incapable of doing. The guys with a wee pencil behind the ear doing complex odds on five-way accumulators, and they can tell you instantly whether to pay the tax in front or behind and how much it will be. People don't realise how numerate they are. I also have a little personal obsession about our failure to look at the Trachtenberg system of speed mathematics, which is a wonderful system for engaging children in mathematics. Now, we've always got to support the next generation. As I am now almost certainly in the last quarter of my life, I'm very conscious, as others of us should be, that the younger people in our society will choose the care home that I'm in. So if I don't look after them now, then it's certainly not going to be a very good outcome for me. The question, of course, that has always engaged all of us is the nature versus nurture. And I think with generations in parts of Scotland of people who have not been brought up in a nurturing environment, there is a clear need to address that issue. We've seen that early years of children's lives are crucial. We've seen the government and successive governments seek to engage on the issue, and I very much welcome the contributions that have been made to the debate. Unexpected humility so far, welcome consensus. I would just make the observation to the Labour Party in closing, Presiding Officer, that I'm not entirely sure that 4-day weeks in school and a mooted proposal that I heard last week to delay entry to school until 6 is necessarily going to help. But I'm going to be interested to see what's going to come forward from the Labour Party and from others in the coming election. I'm very happy to support the amendment in Shona Robinson's name.